So, the TEA ratings kind of came out today, and, for the second year in a row, BISD was rated as a D. Does the district plan to appeal these ratings?
There's a window within which you can appeal, and if there's ever an opportunity to do that, we will certainly take advantage of it. I don't know if we're in that window right now. Right now, we are, of course, disappointed because we work so hard. Our teachers and staff put in a tremendous amount of work. And when you see that letter grade is not actually what BISD is. In my opinion, or the opinion, of most in our community, our team works extremely hard every single day. When you walk into our schools, when you walk into our classrooms, and you see the impact of the work that we are doing, it's exciting. It's great work. So it is disappointing to see that letter, but what I am happy about is progress. So when you compare prior year to current year, we are making progress.
On a campus level?
Yes.
So were there campuses individually that did improve year over
So
year?
when you look at our individual campus data, 16 out of 22 campuses either improved their overall rating or at least maintained a B. So when I look at the data in that way, progress is important. So we are really close to, the next level, of course, which is a C. However, I'm anticipating Beaumont ISD is going to be an A-rated district. That's what our focus, that's what our drive is, that's what our work is intended to actually meet that goal at the end of this coming school year.
And when you say that you expect BISD to be an A campus, do you have a timeline or a plan to get to that A?
When you look at our board outcome goals, which we set board outcome goals every 5 years, we recently set our new 2030 board outcome goals, which are continuing to focus on increasing student achievement in third grade reading, increasing student achievement in third grade math, and increasing the percentage and number, of campuses that are scoring, an A and B rated level, increasing community perception. That strategic plan is targeted and intentional in getting us toward, an overall district rating that I expect and anticipate will soon be an A.
And so what are some measurable, and quantifiable plans to get there?
So one of the things that we did this year, and we've talked a lot about it over the course of the past several months, is changing our curriculum. So we changed our math curriculum. Huge investment in making certain that our teachers have been trained and supporting our teachers throughout the year, transitioning to Bluebonnet curriculum. I've been visiting campus the past several days, as well as doing professional development, and received positive feedback, so much positive feedback from our teachers and their excitement and investment in our new curriculum. So that's a major step, one of our major strategies toward ensuring that our students are performing on grade level in math. Of course, we have additional strategies, but that's a key component to what we're doing. When you look at reading performance, we started reading intervention, we started an additional findings program, we started small group instruction, so many things that we started doing that we're going to see the fruits of that labor over the course of this year and subsequent years. So the plan that we have in place is working in certain content areas, and that's what we're going to continue to do to drive, and increase that student achievement.
So the differentiator is, those key interventions is what you're saying?
Yes. At our secondary campuses, one of the things we did, of course, blocking, the schedule for RLA and math for our middle school students, implementing an advisory period or intervention time, as well as implementing small group instruction, at the secondary level. So we have many strategies and interventions that we're putting in place this year that we're going to see fruits of that labor.
You have parents in this district who believe in BISD, who haven't left for other districts. What is your message to them for their children?
Continue to support our schools. Of course, we appreciate and we vitally need the support of our families to do the work that we do. When you think about the amount of time that we have our kids about 7.5 hours a day. And all of the learning, we're maximizing the time that we have. but we need the support of our families to continue that learning outside of school. So I want to encourage our parents and our families to continue to support your school, continue to support your children, stay actively involved. Please, you know, we've had, at the beginning of the year, we've had meet the teacher opportunities for our elementary students. In the next couple of weeks, we'll have goals nights opportunities. I'm inviting and really asking parents to invest in these opportunities, to come, hear about the individual performance of your campus, meet your child's teachers, build a relationship with your child's teachers, and make certain that you are there and present. We want to be held accountable, but we need them to be there in order to hold us accountable. So make certain that they are invested, just as invested as we are. And I want our families to know we are 100% invested in the success of our students. But the work that we're doing, it takes our entire community. It takes the parents. It takes the support to make certain that every child meets his or her potential.
You know, there are talks about a potential, you know, state takeover or state taking action, because this would be the 5th year in a row that, you know, BISD has had a campus that's had a failing grade. Have you heard anything from the state today?
No.
Okay. Would you expect to hear anything from the state?
I will hear information from the commissioner or the state whenever I hear information, but I don't have a timeline or have received no information or indication on what could or would not happen based on the results that were released this year.
I know the district has known about these, you know, grades for a week. Some of the other larger districts have preemptively, you know, told us about those grades. Why did BISD hold on to it?
What do you mean?
So Toccoa Academy last
Yeah.
week, my understanding,
Okay.
school districts were told about their grades a week before they went public.
We were given our official ratings actually came out on Wednesday. So I received information from my staff Wednesday with our official ratings that would be released publicly on Friday. So we were prepared to send our press release on Friday, which is today. So, I mean, that was our anticipation and expectation. When I receive data, you know, we want to make certain that our data is accurate, that we have opportunities to do our own internal analysis and review. So for a district our size, that takes a little bit more time for our district and the staff that we have.
And I can show you on the website where it says that districts would receive their information Wednesday, and then it would be public on Friday, which is today. So we did not get it a week early.
Okay.
So if other districts were releasing preliminary information, and that may be what they were releasing, but we don't release preliminary information to the public. We want to make certain that the information that we release is accurate information.
So would the state not give accurate information?
They gave accurate information. They gave the final information, the final data on Wednesday.
Okay.
This past Wednesday was when the final
She's just saying
data.
the difference between preliminary
mm-hmm.
information and final information.
So if other districts released their data, it was based on preliminary information because final ratings and data did not come out until Wednesday.
So when you received the preliminary information, was it the same as the final information?
There were some discrepancies. So when you look at each individual overall accountability, some of them were 1 or 2 or 3 points off.
But it didn't change the overall grade?
It didn't change the overall grade, but it changed overall grades for some campuses individually. And one way, you know, 1 point, 2 points, or 3 points. So that makes a difference. Yeah.
Is there anything else that, you know, you think the community needs to hear from you as the face of, you know, BISD for this really kind of upsetting news?
I want the community to understand that, you know, oftentimes we're compared to, you know, other districts, and when you look at the accountability, you can't compare. It's not like comparing apples to apples. So when you look at, you know, our community compared to other communities in our region, things are different, you know, different factors. Our socioeconomic status of our students is different. Our ethnic makeup of our students is different. The resources that our students have access to are different. So I think sometimes our community gets frustrated because they want to compare us to neighboring school districts who have different performance. So I want them to not, first of all, not compare us to other districts. Our student demographic, our student makeup, our district makeup is very different. The resources that we have don't match or mirror the resources of other school districts. The struggle that our kids have don't match the struggles, that other students have. We put in and we invest so much in our students. And I want our community to know that we need their support. We are going to continue to do our very best to make certain that every child in Beaumont ISD is successful. And again, that is something that we want and need the support. We want our community to be involved. We want our parents to be involved. We want our parents to understand and know, their students' individual data, know what's happening with their children. Please hold us accountable, but we need you to be there to hold us accountable. Be present, be in our schools, come visit, come see what's happening. We've had a great kickoff to the 25-26 school year. When you walk on our campuses and you see the work that's going on right at the beginning of the year, and that happens every single day throughout the course of a year, it doesn't look like what that accountability rating actually says. When you walk on our campuses, you don't see, a campus campuses in our district, you don't see a campus that looks like a D. Our campuses, when you look at the work that's happening, the intensity of the work, the passion that our teachers have, the drive that they have, the effort and the energy that they put in their work, the execution of their work, it doesn't look like, what that letter grade may say. So I want to make certain our community knows and continues to back the campuses that their children attend, make certain that they are present, make certain that they're asking those questions. Ask us questions. Know exactly where your child stands, but make certain that they are involved and they're supporting us as we move our students forward.
Do you think these TEA ratings are fair? A fair academic understanding of what the district does and other districts across the state?
If you look at, and I've made several statements about the accountability system in Texas as a whole, and my frustration as, a leader with changes that have been made to this accountability system that was so unfair, which caused school districts to actually sue the state of Texas. Beaumont ISD was involved in the 2023 accountability litigation. 2024, there was accountability litigation. You have to really think about why did that happen? Why did school districts join or decide to sue the state?
Why did the ISD join?
Because we felt very, we agreed with, in 2023, the rationale as to why that accountability system was not fair. It wasn't fair, and it wasn't transparent. There were changes to the assessments. We didn't have the rules before we took the test, okay? So the criteria that lawsuit was based on, we felt like, hey, the state didn't do a good job here. Because what happens, these letter grades are what broadcast across the community, and then your community does what? They lose faith in your school district. They lose faith in the public schools. And the accountability system was changed in a way that unfairly painted public schools. It was changed in a way that made it appear as if our public schools are not successful in doing the job that they're doing. So many school districts, saw that, recognized it, and decided to join into, that litigation, which of course did not prevail. 23 ratings were released, and then of course 2024 ratings were released. And it's not about not wanting to be held accountable. You just want a fair accountability system. You want a transparent accountability system. And I don't feel that our accountability system actually reflects that. When you consider the changes in the assessments, the timelines within which those changes were made, and changes to accountability system all happening at one time, well, that's not fair. That's not fair. Changes in the assessments, changes in the bar that have happened over the course of the past couple of years, it doesn't paint an accurate picture of where our schools actually perform.
If you had those rules beforehand, the ones that, in the 2023 school year, for the changes on the accountability system, would that have changed the district's approach?
Absolutely. You
How
will
so?
change. Well, I would have to actually go in and look at my playbook from 2023 because we're in 2025 now. But we absolutely would make adjustments. You make adjustments when you know exactly what the rules are. One of the major, I'm trying to recall exactly the pieces from that 2023 litigation, and a portion of it I know dealt with the raising the bar for CTE, increasing that standard, and CTE data is 2 years, prior to. So that was a real struggle for school districts to be able to go in and make any type of adjustment on data that's lagging. It's lagging data. But anytime you have an opportunity to go in and make adjustments to your playbook or your action plan, you're going to do that. You're going to do it. And not having had that opportunity, we didn't have that opportunity at the time. So that's why the litigation moved forward at that time. But of course, school districts did not prevail and those ratings were released. Have you all done the data and just looked, across the state to see where the state lands? Have you done that research yet?
I did do some data mining right here.
Okay.
Is that I know that most campuses maintain their previous ratings, only a small portion, 15% saw a decline. 43% of high poverty campuses in Texas were rated an A or a B. Just kind of some of those higher marking things.
Okay.
I've looked at districts that are roughly the same size as BISD with roughly the same poverty, roughly the same student makeup, who are making higher than a D. Denton's kind of an example. I believe they are around like a high C. So I have done some comparison data on that.
Okay, that's good. One of the things that I had a point about the lawsuit. I'm trying to remember. I forgot my point. I had a whole point.
I think I was just trying to make, connect A to B of a, trend.
A trend with
If there is a changing goalpost for the state districts.
There is a changing goal. I mean, the system changed, of course, the assessment changed, which makes it more difficult. So, I don't, like I said, I don't compare our district necessarily to other school districts because of the different challenges, the resources. I don't know what other districts' resources look like. When you look at, their staffing, I don't know what their staffing challenges look like versus our staffing challenges. I don't know what their compensation for their teachers looks like. I don't know what their attendance looks like versus our attendance. So when you take in all of those factors that actually impact how your students perform, they are different. And there are some things that we're really trying to work toward re-engaging our community and our parents and families and making certain our kids are coming to school. Because of course, if they're not coming to school, we can't teach them. So prior to COVID, we had a much higher attendance rate than what we have right now. And we're making small incremental steps, but we need our kids to be present in class every single day, So definitely asking our parents as we engage in another school year to make attending school a priority.
This is minorly kind of off topic, but what type of wraparound services does BISD have to, support a family? So students come to school with fresh clothes, foods, etc.
So we have, of course, we have our counseling, have our guidance counselors who are on every single campus. We also have wellness coordinators, and wellness coordinators are social workers in a sense who actually connect parents and students to resources that are available to them throughout the community, also support students with mental health. We also have several partnerships throughout the community, with Spindletop and different resources that are available for our families, and we connect them. We have communities and schools on several of our campuses to support our families who need that additional support.
And breakfast and lunch are free for all students.
Yes.
Every single day, yes.
How many students, like percentage-wise, of the total population are receiving these services?
Oh, I can't tell you that.
tell
I can't give you a number. I mean, that's data I'd have to look up. I can't tell you.
Would that be a high percentage?
Yeah, I would say it would be a pretty good percentage of students, but I don't want to give you information that I haven't had a chance to verify.
Yeah. I think I just have one final question. I bucked the trend. I would be a third generation teacher if I'd gone into teaching. And so from a perspective of, being in a family, these grades sometimes are disappointing to the work that teachers are doing. They are continually also having the goalpost moved down, for them. What are your message to, BISD teachers and, support staff and personnel who are trying to meet the state metrics, trying to meet the district metrics, and getting a D in the process.
And I'm so glad you asked that question, because I want to encourage our entire BISD team. We have a team, over 2,400 individuals who work for our organization. And one of the things that I share with them, if you work for this organization, you are an educator. I don't care what your role is. And everyone's role is extremely important. And I want our teachers especially to be encouraged and continue doing the work. Continue working hard for our kids. We are continuing to provide professional development, support, as many resources as we can possibly provide, training and different opportunities for them to continue to grow. But I want them to remember the why they do this work. Before you get up every morning or before you walk into that classroom, think about why you're doing the work. You're doing the work to make a difference, and they are making a difference. So it doesn't matter necessarily what that letter grade says. Think about those children in your classroom every single day and why you're doing this work, and keep doing the work, because it's not easy work. I will tell, I've shared, with our team how much we value and appreciate what they do, because the climate that we're educating children in is very different today. It is a challenging environment. It's a world where so many children come to us so needy. They come to us needing more than you to teach them reading, writing, math, science, and social studies. They come to us with deficits. They come to us needing love and support, food, clothes, transportation, all the things. And sometimes it's difficult. It's very difficult for our teachers to be able to meet all of those needs. But I continue to encourage our staff, and I want our staff to stay motivated, and don't be discouraged. Don't be upset. Keep moving forward. Keep doing the work. Keep remembering why we do the work that we do. And it's all about the kids and the success of the kids. And whether or not that letter grade says it, we are making progress and successful for so many families. That letter grade doesn't really tell you and show you exactly what's happening in Beaumont ISD campuses. So I don't accept that, oh, you scored this score and this is how good or how bad your district is. No, because I know the work that we're doing. I know the heart. I know the effort and the energy and the intensity of the work that we're doing every single day.
What's your why?
What's my what?
What's your why?
The children in this community. When I took this job several years ago, one of my personal vision was to break the cycle of poverty through a high quality education for our children. I want to make certain that every kid gets what I call the winning lottery ticket. And that winning lottery ticket is what? That's a good education. So that when they leave Beaumont ISD, they can do whatever they want to do. If it's go to college, career, military, workforce, whatever they want to do. So that's my personal why. And I'm encouraging and pushing and driving every single person who works for this organization to maintain their personal why and keep moving and keep doing the work.